I never thought I would become that person. The one who finds out the truth in the worst possible way. The one who walks into a room and sees something they can never unsee. My name is Olivia, and for a long time, I believed I had a perfect life. A stable marriage, a beautiful home, and a best friend I trusted like family. Her name was Rachel. We had known each other since college. She was there for everything. My first job, my worst breakup, and later, my wedding. Rachel wasn't just my best friend. She was part of my life in a way that felt permanent. The kind of person you never imagine losing. When I met my husband, Daniel, she was the first person I introduced him to. And like everyone else, she liked him immediately. Daniel was easy to like. He was calm, confident, and always knew how to make people feel comfortable. The three of us quickly became close. Too close, as I would later realize. At first, everything felt normal. We would have dinners together, watch movies, laugh about small things. Rachel would come over often. Sometimes planned, sometimes not. But she was always welcome. This was her second home. At least, that's how I saw it. Looking back now, I can see the signs. The small things I ignored. The little moments that didn't quite make sense. Like how Rachel and Daniel would sometimes exchange looks I couldn't explain. Or how conversations would suddenly stop when I walked into the room. At the time, I brushed it off. Because, when you trust people, you don't look for reasons to doubt them. Everything started to change about 2 months before I found out the truth. Daniel began working late more often. At least, that's what he told me. Deadlines, meetings, new projects, the usual explanations. At the same time, Rachel started visiting less frequently, at least when I was home. Sometimes she would cancel plans last minute. Other times she wouldn't reply for hours. It felt strange, but I never connected the two. Not until the day everything fell apart. It was a Friday. I remember it clearly because I had been looking forward to that weekend all week. Daniel had told me he would be working late again, and Rachel had said she was busy. So, I planned a quiet evening for myself. But around 5 p.m., my manager told me I could leave early. A meeting had been canceled. At the time, I thought it was a small piece of luck. I even smiled on my way out of the office. I had no idea what I was about to walk into. The drive home felt normal. Traffic. Music playing softly. Nothing unusual. When I pulled into the driveway, I noticed something immediately. A car. Parked in front of the house. My stomach tightened slightly. I recognized it instantly. It was Rachel's car. A strange feeling settled in my chest. She told me she was busy. Maybe she'd changed her plans. Maybe she stopped by to surprise me. I tried to keep my thoughts calm, but something didn't feel right. I walked to the front door and unlocked it. The house was quiet. Too quiet. "Hello?" I called out. No answer. I stepped inside and closed the door behind me. Then I heard something. A sound. Coming from the living room. Low voices. And something else. A soft laugh. My heart started beating faster. I moved slowly down the hallway. Each step felt heavier than the last. The voices became clearer. Rachel and Daniel. But the tone of their voices was not normal, not casual, not friendly. Something about it felt intimate. My hand tightened around my bag. I reached the edge of the hallway, and then I saw them, standing in the living room. Close. Too close. Daniel's hand resting on Rachel's waist. Her face only inches from his. And, in that moment, everything inside me went completely still. For a moment, I couldn't move. I couldn't speak. I couldn't even breathe properly. I just stood there, frozen, staring at them. Daniel and Rachel, standing in my living room like they belonged there, like nothing was wrong. Then Daniel noticed me. His entire body stiffened. Olivia. Rachel turned a second later. The moment she saw me, her face changed instantly.
Shock, fear, guilt.
Daniel's hand dropped from her waist. But it was too late. I had already seen everything. I can explain, Daniel said quickly. Those words felt almost insulting. Explain what? What exactly could possibly explain what I had just seen? I stepped forward slowly. My eyes didn't leave them. How long? I asked. My voice sounded calm.
Too calm.
Daniel hesitated. Rachel looked down at the floor. Neither of them answered. That silence told me everything. How long? I repeated. Daniel ran his hand through his hair. 3 months, he said quietly. 3 months. The number echoed in my head. 3 months of lies. 3 months of dinners together. 3 months of pretending everything was normal. I let out a small breath. Not a cry. Not anger. Just emptiness. And you? I asked Rachel. She finally looked up at me. Her eyes were filled with something I couldn't quite read. I didn't mean for this to happen, she said softly. The sentence made something inside me snap. You didn't mean for this to happen? I repeated. You're my best friend. The word felt wrong now. Almost foreign. I know, she said. But it just happened. That was the moment I realized something. This wasn't a mistake. This wasn't something sudden. This was something they had both chosen. Over and over again. I looked at Daniel. Were you ever going to tell me? He didn't answer. That silence was enough. For a brief second, I expected to feel anger.
To yell.
To break something. But instead, I felt something else.
Clarity.
Cold, sharp clarity. I looked around the room. The house we had built together. The place I had felt safe in. And suddenly, it didn't feel like mine anymore. You need to leave, I said. Daniel blinked. What? You heard me. My voice was steady. Pack your things and leave. Rachel took a small step back. Olivia. Don't. I didn't even look at her. Just go. There was nothing left to say. No explanation that would fix this. No apology that would change anything. Daniel hesitated for a moment. Then he nodded slowly. Without another word, he walked past me toward the bedroom. Rachel stayed frozen in place. For a second, I thought she might try to say something else. But then she turned and walked toward the door. When it closed behind her, the house became silent. Completely silent. Daniel left shortly after. The sound of the front door closing echoed through the house. And just like that, they were gone. I stood there in the middle of the living room, alone, but strangely, not broken. Because sometimes the most painful moment of your life is also the moment you finally see the truth. And once you see it, you can never go back to the lie.